Welcome to Parenting Roundabout. Just about a year ago, we recorded this episode in which we decided to give ourselves a break on a bunch of parenting issues and tasks. And today, we are giving ourselves a break from daily podcasting by bringing you this replay. We hope you enjoy it.
Join us tomorrow for our regular Tuesday round 2, where we will discuss the latest Dancing with the Stars, as well as The Good Place and The West Wing. And on Wednesday, we'll be back with still more Dancing with the Stars coverage in a special speedy bonus round 2.
Our sense of humor is a little off.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. It feels ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh yeah, no.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
So I'm happy to report that finally, after these many weeks of talking and complaining about it, my bathroom's finished. Yay! Yay! Finally, the guy came yesterday and he put on the shower doors and he put up a shelf and he put up a mirror that, like, my face is in now instead of the mirror we had before, which caught my hairline. I can actually see myself, and now I'm starting to realize that maybe that was not such a good idea. Every time I go to wash my hands, oh my gosh, is that what I look like? It's a very big mirror. So possibly magnifying, I'm not sure, but
Ooh, that's not
all
good.
those bags under my eyes.
I don't like that in hotels, like when you...
No.
Yes.
They have such gigantic mirrors and you can't, you step out of the shower and it's like, whoa!
That
Let's
is
get some
evil.
more steam in here.
That's right. Yes. The full body
Mood
mirrors.
lighting.
That is
it's
wrong.
Like the change rooms in department stores where there's that bright fluorescent lighting, and you need to have like mood lighting where you can switch to
Yes.
night.
Possible
nighttime.
total darkness.
Yeah.
If they want you to buy anything, yes.
Yes. So there's some things we don't need to see. You need like a virtual reality where it shows you what you would like to look.
Yeah.
Yes.
If only you would buy those particular jeans, you'd probably end up looking just like this.
You lose 20 pounds and all your gray hairs and everything would, nothing would sag and you would look great.
Yeah.
Hey.
Problem.
Yeah, I couldn't find that mirror for my bathroom, so we just have one. It looks very nice, but of course, this is another reason why I don't like doing home renovations, because in your mind, when it's done, it's going to be beautiful and clean and new and perfect, and you will have this blank slate to start out with, and you will keep it clean and everything will be great. But if you have human beings doing your work,
Yeah.
it never works out like that. Even professionals. There's the little corner where things don't quite match up. There's the little smudge on the wall that somebody left while they were putting something in and you can't quite get off. There's, there's little dust in the shower, bottom of the shower that you can't get up. We have like little pencil marks at the top of the shower walls where they were trying to line it up and we can't figure out how to get it off. There's just all these little things that now, of course, I am seeing every imperfection. I am like the dressing room mirror of homeowners now. Everything is magnified for me. Everything that was supposed to be perfect is not. There's sticky glue on stuff still. The contractor was putting light bulbs in for me and he crawled up on top of my cute little sink to put them on and I'm like, ah!
Oh, no.
So now, of course, every time I go to the sink, I'm like, this is a little off. This is a little wrong. Was it like this before? I don't remember it being like this before. Why is this sticky over here? Is it because he knocked it off of what it was and this is old? So it's like now, after the push to get it done, the getting up the energy to actually do the reno, and then the surviving the 4 weeks of renovating the closet-sized bathroom. Now it's going to be just endless months and years of finding things that are wrong with it. So, yay!
Yeah.
Endless months and
I
years.
paid how many thousands of dollars for this not perfect thing? No. I ordered perfect. If something's going to get messed up, I want it to be because I didn't take good care of it, not because it wasn't perfect to start out with.
To begin with, exactly.
Cap on the heater's a little crooked.
Well, this does lead us into what we're going to talk about later. So I will start.
Catherine is grabbing the segue reins from me
grabbing
before I
it.
rant for another 5 hours about what's wrong with my bathroom. Actually, I'm very happy with it.
Good. I'm glad you're happy. And you're podcasting from your bedroom office again.
Back in my bedroom office, yes.
Right. So, welcome to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Catherine Haleko, and with me today are Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Terri Morrow.
Hello.
So today on the podcast, we're going to talk about some missed milestones on our Friday speed round, shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup, and do some shameless self-promotion. But first, Terri, we kind of threw our topic out the window for today. Is that right?
I really did. You know, we had one of those bossy parenting articles that we usually love to find and talk about. We had one of those all ready to go, and we were, thinking about how we were going to agree or disagree with it. And it's just, you know what? This week's been a little tough. There's a lot going on. I really don't feel like being angry about parenting advice. I do it so well, and yet sometimes you need a break. So this week...
You do it well.
It is my thing. But, this week we decided to give ourselves a break and talk instead about the things that we have decided not to care about in parenting. Instead of the things, as we usually talk about, that you should be doing, or that some expert says you should be doing, or that some nasty parent giving you the stink eye thinks you should be doing, we're just going to give ourselves permission to not care. So I know there's been many things in my parenting life that I've had to decide, is this important enough for me to agonize over it, or can I just say, forget it? An early one of those for me was my kids' clothes. You know what? Not fashion plates. Utilitarian. It's like, my son has to wear shirts that if he spills things on them, it's not going to show. So he was plaid boy pretty much forever. And he couldn't wear t-shirts because he chewed them. So he was button-down collar plaid shirt boy. And I really don't care if it's stylish or not.
My daughter went cute.
Yes, my daughter went through a very long phase where all she wanted to do was wear sweatpants. And, not the little stylish girly I had imagined. But really, you know what? She's the one who's got to wear it. If that's what she likes, I give myself permission not to be clothes police. Catherine, did you give yourself permission not to worry about certain things with your kids?
Yeah, I mean, I specifically right away think about baths. As when my kids were younger, it's like, this is a production that I'm not up for today. And you know what? They don't smell. So let's just move on.
That is a very good example.
And one time I remember my sister-in-law was visiting, and she has a daughter who's a little bit older, and, for her, this was one of her things. And, like, every single day, that child got a bath, no matter what. And I was just like, she's like, aren't you going to give him a bath? Nope, not doing it. Like, they're fine. And in fact, if I bathe them every day, their skin would dry up and fall off. So we're not doing that either.
I fully support the sniff test. You're good for another day, sweetie.
Yep. And now, I mean, now that my son is 12, like, he's getting a lot better about actually wanting to take his own showers. So the point is that eventually they will take baths on their own, and you don't have to be the one that is enforcing that.
Yeah, one hopes.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I mean, when he comes home from hockey practice, and I say, I don't care if you took a shower this morning, you reek right now, so you can take a shower again. and he does, so that's good.
Yes. My son does when he does the treadmill and he gets all sweaty. Then I'll go and take a shower.
Yeah.
Which is sufficient.
That's right.
But yes, the whole, everybody has different priorities for doing that. You can let kids have different priorities too, as long as nobody's complaining.
Right. I mean, if they're getting a note home from the teacher about how they're disrupting the class with their aroma, then maybe it's time to make a change. Yeah. So that's one. And, I haven't said this to my kids out loud, I don't think. But, you know, like, I don't really super care what their grades are as long as they're actually doing the work.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes, I don't know, like, I'll look at the work, I'm like, yeah, that looks good to me. And then they don't get a very good grade on it. I'm like, well, I'm not sure what happened there, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. Like, especially when they're in elementary school and middle school. Like, let's be real here.
Yeah. I feel like having kids with learning disabilities kind of gave me permission to not care about that sort of thing. Because it's like, I would rather they do their best and they get a grade that's accurate than that somebody does it for them and they get a good grade.
Right.
Which I know parents who argue for that. This is my poor child who has this disability. Give him an A. And it's like, well, but what is that? It's a pat on the head. It's like, do your work, get the grade you get. As long as you're not failing, I really don't care. How about you, Nicole? What have you given yourself permission to not care about? I hope there's something. Do you feel like you have to care about everything?
No. Gosh, no. Oh, no. No. Well, when it comes to things about around the house, like chores and such, I'm not like you have to do chores every week kind of person, and I'm not really. I've given up caring about if their bed's made every morning or not. And personal hygiene. When my daughter was younger, she hated brushing her hair, so we compromised, and I would just put it in a ponytail. For the longest time. But you know, these days, and actually kind of the big thing was that, and I think I've spoken towards this in the past, is that we're not big joiners. You know, we're not big kind of rah, go team kind of, you know, go to the community parades kind of people, fireworks. We're just, you know, we're kind of, you know, quiet Canadians. We just kind of stick to ourselves. So I gave my kids a lot of passes on attending school events and team events and parades and band events. I didn't really promote the, you know, rah team feeling, but that was just my own personal bias. So
it's like, if they don't go, you don't have to go either.
Exactly.
That's okay, honey.
So yeah, I mean, they went to the essentials. You know, we didn't go to everything. And I've also given myself a pass to not have to attend every single event of theirs. For example, like in terms of related to school. So for example, like my daughter's back to school night, I didn't go, as you know.
Yes.
My son's university has parent days and parent nights. I don't go to that.
Struggling hard not to be judgy.
I know.
Struggling, it's so hard.
So, yeah, I
will try not to care that you don't care about that. But
I know.
Can I go to your son's college day?
Terri will go for you. I agree. I mean, I mean, my kids generally want to go to those sort of things, and I don't mind going, so whatever. But, like, you know, there's plenty of parents who go to not only every game or event, but they go to every practice.
Oh, no.
And I have definitely given myself permission not to do that. Like, come on. I can't.
That does seem excessive.
You know, that's too much. And then, of course, you know, the one time that you don't go is when your kid, like, gets hit on the head or something. And but no, I don't always go.
This is where you have to give yourself permission not to go, but make your spouse go. This is going to be your thing, honey. You will go to all the practices and games, and I will stay home and watch TV. We had that for a while, but I liked going to things. I was maybe one of those parents, reliving my high school years through my children.
Yeah. No, I just... it's the same thing over and over again. You know, if I want to know about my daughter's progress, I'll just email her teacher. I feel like I'm wasting their time and mine by going to these evenings.
Although last year at my daughter's parent-teacher conferences for the high school, they do it where, like, all the teachers are in the gym and you just, like, they sit behind a table and you wait your turn and go. You don't well, no, actually you do schedule it. But anyway, so I had one, I talked to the math teacher, and that's when I found out that my child should have been in a different class. And I was like, were you planning to let me know? Because he said, well, I tried to move her into the advanced section, but there wasn't any room. So for next year, she should sign up for the advanced class. And we had already signed up, we'd already registered. And so I was able to just contact the office and have her switched for the next year. But was he going to say anything if I didn't show up at that conference?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he told her and she opted not to tell me. That's quite possible. But yeah,
this
that
is
was
the trick
one
they're using to get parents there. Huh? Didn't come? Okay, fine. Your kid's in the wrong class.
Your kids.
And we ate all the cookies.
That was strange, I will say.
Yeah. How about food? Do you guys have like food related things you've decided not to care about? Like I see my kids eating stuff and I feel like they really shouldn't be eating that, but that looks delicious. Can I have some? So
no,
I take a snack tax.
I still
You're eating
care.
crackers? Give me some.
I still care.
You still care?
And I still get upset.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, one of my kids is not at a healthy weight. So when some people purchase things that that child should not be eating, that gets me upset. So yeah. And I can talk to the kid about it all I want, but
sure,
it's pretty hard.
It's definitely better
if
for stuff not to be
available.
In the house. Yeah.
I mean, the child is not happy at that weight either. So it's but it's not something that is it's not just about willpower.
Nope.
And knowledge, I mean, we have the knowledge, but
yeah, it's very hard for adults, so especially for kids, it's just not. It's good not to have that in the house, but then of course if other family members are not having that same struggle and would enjoy it, then
well, my position is they need to enjoy it outside of the house.
That's right.
Which is what I do.
Go out and back at the barn with those Cheez-Its.
Yes.
In the garage with you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Snacks, unhealthy snacks are so delicious. It's so unfair.
It's true.
But I have trouble controlling myself, so I feel bad telling them, although occasionally I will, but generally I've decided to give us all a pass as long as health's not impaired.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I still insist that my daughter has some healthy food through the day. She has
Find
to have,
some, like a carrot now and then.
she has to have some fruits and vegetables in her day. So, I mean, I kind of not super, I encourage her to not eat a lot of fast food. And I mean, we do have some potato chips in the house, but not a lot. I don't pay attention too much to that stuff, but I don't know, just have conversations about just healthy eating. But see, it's hard for me because I'm not exactly a good role model either. So I'm not out there crunching on broccoli either. So I tend to be a little bit more forgiving when she tells me that she doesn't like the taste, because I get it. I hate the taste.
Yeah.
So I try and hide it in certain things, or encourage her to at least have a couple bites. She has to get used to it at some point. So I'm not overly strict with the fruits and vegetables, but encouraging. Yeah. So I don't know.
How about sleep? Do you guys legislate sleep, or just kind of figure that they'll fall asleep when they feel like it? My son is in his bedroom listening to music after he's supposed to be sleeping, and especially now that he's not really doing all that much, I just, he doesn't have school in the morning necessarily. Well, he usually has his volunteer thing in the morning, but he also sleeps in the afternoon. So both my kids, I kind of figure, are going to get the sleep they need to get. I don't care. I mean, I don't put myself in that equation very much. Now, maybe I did when they were younger.
Yeah, I mean, for my older one, I don't, because, that's not true. I will nag her to, if I see her sitting around at, 9 o'clock at night, I'm like, either do homework, or if you don't have homework, then you can go to bed. You know, if you're doing neither of those things when it's 9 or 10 p.m., like, that has to stop. Because she will just sort of get busy doing something else and not go to bed, and she needs to. Yeah. Because, you know, there's plenty of days where she does stay up really late because she's doing homework, because she was... you know, she was skating, or she had something else going on earlier in the evening. And so, and my son, I'm working still on making sure he goes to bed on time, because he really needs it. And he definitely won't do it on his own. So
yeah, my daughter has always been one that just falls. And she falls asleep around 9:30, something like that. We can't even make it through a full episode of Dancing with the Stars. Oh, and she's 27, you know, so her body clock is very strong and says, sleep now. And she used to get up really early, but now she gets up at a normal time. So, you know, whereas my son, he'll go to bed and he'll stay there quietly, but he won't necessarily sleep. And what am I supposed to do with that? You know, go there every 5 minutes going, sleep.
Exactly.
So
I find myself being a little bit more on top of Kristen with her sleep these days, because I'll go in her room, it'll be 11:30 at night, and she'll still be on her phone, and she's got school that starts at 7:30 in the morning. Like, she is up at 5:45 every morning, so that's barely 6 hours of sleep if she's lucky. So I don't know how she can function on that. So I try to be on top of her about that stuff. Yeah. But my son, I never really worried about. I don't know why I didn't worry about him too much.
Well, and the subset of that, at least for us, is my daughter will, you know, wake up at the last possible moment, and then she won't eat.
Oh, yeah.
So then that's like, okay, now you're not eating breakfast, and that's not good either. So, yeah.
Yeah, we have that. Well, my daughter will want to eat, but I'll end up making her some, you know, a bagel or something, and she'll eat it in the car going to school, and that's not good because she's totally distracted while she's eating her breakfast. Yes. And I'm like, oh, I'm putting her in this danger of, you know, it's just this vicious cycle. It's like, but you know, with her homework load and the homework load of her friends, they're not finishing their homework until 10 or 10:30 at night. So they, you know, that time between 10:30 and 11:30 is like their social hour.
Right.
They get on their phones and they're Snapchatting and texting and stuff. And I really feel for them because there's no give. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just absolutely no give. So that's a whole other conversation.
Well, see, even in our conversation about things we've decided not to worry about, we're finding things to worry about.
We're still worrying.
Perhaps it's time to flee to another topic.
That's right.
Yes, well, that's right.
What do we have for our speed round today?
Well, we aren't going to, blame ourselves for that stuff. Most of that stuff that we just talked about.
Maybe a little.
Yeah. But we've also noticed that there are some big moments and milestones in our families that have just never happened and we really don't care about. And we're doing just okay without them. So our speed round today is what kinds of, moments and milestones that haven't really happened in your family. And you know what? It's all good. You're doing just fine without them. Terri, what's happening? What hasn't happened in your family? What milestones?
Well, with two kids with special needs and in special education, I feel like there's a lot of typical kid milestones that just never really rose up on our road at all. Just we were off on County Road 1 while everybody else was on the superhighway. So, we visited lots of very nice little spots along the way. We had some good times, but the off-ramp for all these typical experiences were not anywhere near the road that we were on. So sometimes I feel a little bad about that, and sometimes I'm like, thank goodness I don't have to deal with it. Like, for example, prom or homecoming or any of these dances that I regularly see people put up pictures of their child going to. Very cute pictures of your daughter, Catherine.
That's right.
And And it's like, that just was not in the cards. My daughter was not interested. You know, she didn't want to go unless she had a bunch of friends who were going, and people would say, oh, you can go by yourself. And it's like, no, nobody wants to go by themselves, especially now where it seems like going as a unit is the thing that gets done. And nobody was, you know, no guy was asking her, no girls were asking her to go with them. So she, and she didn't care. I probably cared more than her. And then when it came my son's time, I mean, I think his girlfriend wanted to go to the prom, and he was like, nah, not really into it. And I was not sure whether it was going to be a safe situation for them. He did go to his junior prom with his friend and his girlfriend, but the senior prom, he was like, nah, you know, and other dances and stuff. So that was never part of those are milestones missed. And sometimes I feel a little tug, and sometimes I think of all the money that we would have had to spend and all the hours trying to find dresses and limos and all that other crud. And it's like, you know what? Nah. If they don't miss it, I'm not going to miss it. You know, but a lot of the other things that are rites of passage for kids in our town, you know, it's probably just as well. We had our own. Fine. We had our own milestones. Mm-hmm. Right. The 21st birthday party at the speech therapist's office. Who else gets that? That was our milestone. You make your own milestones.
That's right. Yeah, you do. How about you, Catherine? What has your family not done, but you're doing just fine with?
Well, I was just thinking about this the other day that, you know, just based on sort of where we live and what the policies are and etc. My kids have never been bus riders. They just have never had the occasion to take school bus, you know, aside from like going on a field trip or whatever. But they don't ever, they haven't ever been, you know, at the bus stop with their friends and, you know, and I know that could be a horrible situation too. So that's another one that, you know, they certainly don't care that they haven't done it. And while I would have appreciated probably some help with all the driving, I guess it's, you know, it's just one of those things that never happened. And for whatever reason, we have never ever taken them to the mall to pose with Santa.
Oh, wow.
I think because when my daughter was really little, she was scared, and I didn't need the crying picture. And I was like, I'm not going to stand in line and pay like $25 for a picture of her crying. Like, I know sometimes they're really cute and funny, but I don't need to do that. So yeah, I don't have a single picture of them as Santa.
I don't think we really did that much either. We did when we first adopted the kids, and my sister-in-law had young kids. She would drag us to go do this. Let's all go to the mall and let's have a picture taken with this character or something, or let's go, you know, the Easter Bunny and all that stuff. And it was like you say, it was a long wait.
Yeah.
And by the time you finally get there, your kid is all over it. And you know, when are we going home? And it's like, after a couple of those, I thought, why are we doing this? The kids don't care. I don't care. Let's just not. You know, who's gonna care years from now? Oh my goodness, we don't have every year with Santa. We don't have every year with the Easter Bunny. Nobody looks at those pictures now.
Right.
And it's a good thing.
Yeah, they're not there. We don't have them.
Life is too short. Now they have these autism things where you can go at a certain time and bypass the line and just have your kid's picture taken. That I would have gone for, but they didn't have that back then. So.
Yeah. Well, we did the Santa photos, but we didn't do the family, like the yearly family Christmas photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We never did any of that. I mean, maybe once every 5 years, but
yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Predominantly because my husband will absolutely never pose for a photo.
No.
We had it a couple of times. Once our church was doing it and once our school was doing it as a fundraiser. And those are wonderful pictures and I am so happy to have them. But to do that like every year, there is no way.
Oh, well, and I have some friends that do it like every season practically. Wow. They've got their spring photos and their Christmas photos and their summer photos.
You're not changing that much in between. What are you documenting exactly?
Yeah.
I will say that the same sister-in-law that I bashed earlier about bathing. When my son was baptized and everybody came, and I said we should take the 3 kids, my niece and my 2 kids, and get a portrait, while you're here, and for the grandparents or whatever. And my sister-in-law was like, we don't need to go, to the mall and pay for that. We can take it ourselves. And we did, and it was a really good picture, actually. We just stuck the kids outside on the lawn and, had the big girls hold the baby, and it came out really cute.
Aww.
So I have to give her credit for that.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, I was thinking about is that my daughter's never experienced like a sleepaway camp in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Because she doesn't want to.
This past weekend, in fact, my daughter has not experienced camping, period, if you can believe that. Last weekend, her friends set up their tent trailer in the backyard. That was the first time ever she slept in a sleeping bag in a tent-like structure. How sad is that? But you know what? I really don't care.
I don't think my kids have either.
Yeah. No, mine, she was like, she enjoyed it. But see, being Canadian, I grew up every summer. That was kind of our summer thing, like right into my 20s. It was every summer we went camping, and I just am kind of over it. I don't need to. And my poor daughter, well, she hasn't really suffered because of it. But yeah, she may not know how to camp, but she sure knows how to order room service in that 5-star hotel.
These are important skills.
Exactly.
Yes. So interesting how I think the big thing about talking about this is realizing I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves sometimes to try and do all these things that society says has to happen.
Yep.
But in the end, you know what? It really isn't that big of a deal if we miss out on it, and we don't often care if we miss out on it. So do what works for you and your family.
That's right.
And remember, you can also do what works for you and your family by listening to a new speed round every Monday through Thursday.
Nice.
It will help you and your parenting greatly. Listen to our parenting advice and our comments, and you'll feel so much better about yourself.
That's right.
Well,
so anyway,
that's right. So now we're going to bring you some of the things that we've read or seen or used recently that we want to shout out and share with you. What do you have, Nicole?
I'm going to let Terri share first.
I was just going to say, please don't call me first. It's one of those weeks when we have nothing.
Well, I can go first if you want.
What have you got to share?
Catherine needs to go first while Nicole and I frantically try to think of something.
Googling while I...
Exactly.
Talk for a long time, okay, honey?
Well, so I don't know if you know this writer, and I don't know how to say his name. Drew Magary or Magary, or I'll call him Magary in a tribute to Leo Magary.
To Leo.
But it's spelled Magary. And every year he does the Hater's Guide to the Williams-Sonoma catalog, which is hilarious.
Okay.
And he goes through and just picks out the stuff that's just really ridiculous in the Williams-Sonoma holiday catalog. And why would you pay $40 for peppermint bark when your kid could take a bunch of candy canes and a hammer and you could have your own peppermint bark. Anyway, so I guess he has a column at Deadspin called Adequate Man. And he wrote a piece recently that a couple of my friends had shared on Facebook. And it's called, let's just say, F Sports Bottles.
Oh.
Okay. And it starts out, I thought it was done. My kids were no longer babies, which meant no more formula, which meant no more time laboring at the sink, hand washing 90 separate Dr. Brown's bottle parts and leaving them soaking on a dish towel to dry. That part of my life was over. But no, it turns out that my time in bottle hell was only beginning, because now my family is firmly within the clutches of Big Sports Bottle, and I cannot escape. And it's just all about how, like, everyone's all about your kid needs a water bottle, like, for every minute of their day. And you're always stuck, like, running back inside to get them, or, you know, buying new ones because they lost it, or washing it. And, yes, I wholeheartedly concur. And when my friend posted it, someone else was like, aren't they allowed to bring, because she was talking about having to wash them. And someone else commented, like, can't your kids bring, like, recyclable ones? Or is that not allowed? And she's like, recyclable ones are allowed. The point is that whatever kind they are, it ends up being my problem. Which, yes, indeed. So, and recently on some blog post, some blog, there was a thing like, are you washing your child's water bottle correctly? I was like, oh God, I am definitely not. Like, if I see anything black, then I put it in the recycling. But otherwise, it's fine. And like my son's school, in practically every email that we get from them, it says, like, don't forget your kids are strongly encouraged to have a water bottle at school. Like, they have water fountains, like, every 10 feet. I mean, can't they just take a drink from the water fountain?
Wait, they want your kid to have a water bottle at school?
Yes.
Isn't that like inviting kids to have splash wars and stuff? Do they just sit there politely and
I guess
drink
they
their water?
do, but my question
is this
why
the world we live in now, where kids would not think to, like,
to fight with
dump their
water
bottle over somebody else's head?
Well, my question is, why can't they just drink from the fountain? So
yes.
Well,
they can't go
unless you live in LA. You're not letting your kid. I mean, if you're going to let your kid drink from a water bottle.
In my day in LA, we were tough pioneer stock. We went an entire class period without needing a drink of water.
Yeah.
Sometimes an entire day if the water fountain was gross.
And
I don't know about you, but I didn't
bottle?
want to have to use the bathroom at school. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Kids today are well hydrated.
That's
Well,
right.
I have something for you.
We choose not to care.
As
Okay.
I was just thinking about this the other day because my daughter was talking to one of her friends, and there was a word that she used that I was not familiar with, as with most teenagers and parents.
Yes.
There is a huge generational gap in language.
Indeed.
So, and even on social media like Twitter or Facebook, sometimes I'll see things pop up and I'm like, what does that mean? So I am a very frequent user of Urban Dictionary. So urbandictionary.com. And if you hear a word or want to connect with your teenager and wonder what all those code slang type words mean, you can type it into Urban Dictionary and it'll give it to you straight up. For example, yesterday.
Is this going to be SFW? We have.
No. This is good. This is actually kind of funny because it sort of it has a humorous take on it. It's obviously been written by an adult, this Urban Dictionary. Yesterday at my daughter's school, it was Clout Day because it was a spirit day.
What does that
mean? You know how they have Pajama Day? Exactly, right? So, there's Pajama Day, there's Tourist Day, and then there's Clout Day. So clout is when you have like, you got some clout. You're kind of out there. You're kind of cool. You kind of got it, right? So one of the symbols of having clout in the teenage world is having clothing that is a certain name brand, and the name brand is called Supreme.
Never heard of it.
So I go into Urban Dictionary and I type in Supreme clothing because I want to know what's so special about it. What it is actually. And it just says, a clothing brand that has figured out a way to make a $3 shirt into a $100 shirt. Congratulations.
Telling it like it is the Urban Dictionary.
Yes, if you want to connect with your teenager, check out Urban Dictionary.
Yes. And it's also useful if you are a person of a certain age writing on social media and in blogs, and you hear a term and you think you understand what it means and you think, that's cool, I'll show that I am hip and happening by using this in my own writing. And then part of your brain goes, wait a minute, better check and make sure it doesn't mean something you don't realize it means. Urban Dictionary is very helpful. It has saved me on various occasions.
Oh, see, and actually I have clout wrong. Clout is being famous and having influence. There we go. Okay.
So it's clout. I mean, it is what that word means, but I didn't know
it is what
teens were using it in that way.
So
teens have always been using it, but not quite calling it by that name.
Yeah.
There were girls with clout when I was in high school, boy, and everybody knew it.
Called the mean girls. It was just more.
That's kind of, I think it's a synonym, isn't it?
I think so.
It's just a nicer way to say.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my roundup.
Okay. Well, I figured out something to say. Catherine and I are talking about Dancing with the Stars every week, and will be for the next little bit as this season goes along. And a resource that I really enjoy using during Dancing with the Stars seasons is the chats on Annie Barrett's blog. Annie Barrett is used to be a writer for Entertainment Weekly. She wrote very enjoyably about Dancing with the Stars, and then Entertainment Weekly kind of went off the rails and let go of a lot of people and made a lot of people mad, including me, and so I stopped reading them. But Annie has lived on as a Dancing with the Stars person. She now actually works for Dancing with the Stars, and she has kept up her blog, and people meet there every Monday night to chat about Dancing with the Stars. So if you go to... We'll have the link to this in our show notes, but it's anniebarrett.com/blog. You can read what people are saying. If you log in through Discus, you can write what you think. You can upvote people. It's really fun, especially if, like me, you are usually sitting watching this by yourself. I have nice conversations with Catherine after, but during... My daughter falls asleep after the first hour, and my husband and son are not interested, and the dog may or may not be watching it, but she doesn't have a lot to contribute. So I go onto that little chat page, and I just read what people are saying. Do they like it? Do they not like it? What did they say? What sarcastic things can we think of to say about these things? It's very fun. And there's a related Facebook group called Fringe Fairies Gem Hunters that I will also put a link in. It's a closed group. I don't remember how exactly you get in it, but if you want to get in it, I'll try to find out for you. Let me know. And then you can talk about it all week, too.
Okay.
Because there's nothing else more important you should be doing. It's fine. It's all good. What happened to Max this week? Discuss.
There's a lot to talk about there.
There has been much to check in on that topic. Not that I should be spending that time or caring, but I do. And
Terri.
This is what happens when I go away from the script to Google desperately for something that I want to share, and then I forget that I have to go back and look at the script. So, and now, for our final segment today, we're going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. Nicole, what do you have for this week?
Well, I recently wrote an article for a blog that you and I are familiar with.
I saw that you wrote for them again so quickly.
I did. And it's called 8 Tips for Introducing a Student with Disabilities to a General Education Classroom.
Yes.
Let's just say there was some incentive to write it.
Well, that's excellent. I'm very glad. Yes. Do you have said incentive in hand, or are you waiting for it?
I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for my incentive from August.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's good to know. Maybe I might have to.
And see, I was going to say, if you don't pay me, I'll tell Nicole Eredick's not to write for you. And then I see your post come up. So, you're taking away my cred, girl. I have no clout.
I have no clout. Well, that's okay. We'll the next one may not come in a timely fashion. The next article.
Well, see, this will introduce you to the life of the freelance writer.
Yes.
Which is pretty much, a short period of time doing the actual work and then a long period of time saying, haven't got my check yet. Did you send my check?
Yeah.
Where's my check? I'm just looking and trying to find my check. Could you please check into my check?
Yeah.
This is the freelance life, dear.
This is it. Welcome.
You want it in.
Yeah. For good reason. I don't want the alternative. Anyway,
Catherine, do you have any more success with what do you got to share this week?
I don't have.
And did you make money for
No.
it? And did the check come yet?
I'm going to just mention it totally isn't anything I've done, but in a very long game sort of way, it could benefit me if more kids ice skated or played hockey. Then it would be cheaper for all of us. So this weekend there's girls hockey weekend, so there's lots of events for girls to try hockey. And it's also kind of the time of year when you might be interested in learn to skate lessons. And those are, I mean, they happen kind of all year round, but it's a nice little extracurricular activity for a small child. Usually it's only like a 6-week session. So I will put up some links for where you can find those things.
Nice.
Very cool. Well, I think that wraps up for things.
Well, I didn't actually do mine, but I don't really have anything. I don't really have anything to shamelessly. What I'll say for my shameless self-promotion is that I spend a great deal of time that I should be spending writing things that will actually make me money. Making up little quote graphics for this podcast. Fun. Good time spent, but time. And tweeting compulsively and excessively so that you have constant reminders of the wonderfulness that is in this podcast. So if you are not already following us on Twitter at Roundabout Chat or me at Momitude, or following us on Facebook at a link that Catherine will put in the show notes, or on Tumblr, or on Google Plus, or on any of the place I am posting this stuff at great time and bother. Go take a look, will you? That's what I'm shamelessly self-promoting. All that stuff that you probably are sick of seeing already. But if you're not, go take a look. It's fun. You'll enjoy.
Will do. And I've noticed the graphics have changed.
They have.
Recently.
I recently changed the style, mostly just because I got tired of the old one. So this one is easier and quicker to do, and I think it looks pretty slick. So,
it does.
So check it out. Enjoy them. Read each one.
Impressed.
Read it again.
Reread it.
Share it with your followers.
And talk back
Print
in the
it out.
comments.
Put it over your desk. I'm working here. Okay.
Well, we appreciate the work you're doing and the work that every parent is putting into raising good kids.
While not going completely overboard with it.
Exactly. So that's it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout. We hope you enjoyed it and that you'll join us every week. You can listen to podcast episodes on parentingroundabout.com or download them from Apple Podcasts. Please subscribe so you get all of our podcasts and mini podcasts. You can also follow us on Twitter, where I am at Nicole Eridix, Catherine is at CHaleko, and Terri is at Momitude. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Roundabout Chat, and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram too. Best of all, stop by our podcast page at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on all the stories we mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Morin at johnjmorin.com for providing our in and out music, and I wish everyone a great week.